everyone, and welcome back to Baron's Den for another roster change video. And now we're on to the Black Orcs. Following a request, I've bumped them up the order. And yeah, let's get into those boys who were the starter team in the Blood Bowl 2020 edition. So, little history for the Black Orcs, because they're not a very old team. They came about as the starter team in the Blood Bowl 2020 box set, along with the Imperial Nobility. And, if we're being fair, they haven't had the greatest time of things in the last edition. Now, that could be down to the way that they're built, or it could be down to the fact that a lot of people who are new to the game would have been playing Black Orcs initially because that's the team that came in the box set. So I think the combination of factors is why they struggled in the last edition. I actually had a lot of fun running them in Blood Bowl 3. I will say I had even more fun in the arena. Was it the not Norse Arena? Corn Arena, I think, where we got they were put in by far too low a tier and got far too many skills and star player options. And I had a wonderful Varag Black Orc build that saw me get through to the arena finals, which felt a bit naughty because you know it was clear that they were incorrectly tiered for that particular arena. But I thought, hey, this is my chance to get Black Orcs the arena champion tag for Black Orcs, because who knows when they'll be up there again, because they have deficiencies as a team. But let's see if season 3 is going to do anything to help them. Okay, so this video probably won't be as long as the others because there's not many player types to go through. First of all, we've got the Goblin Bruiser. I do love the Goblin Bruiser. He's basically a goblin but with thick skull. I don't think there's anything else to say, really. He's movement 6, strength 2, edge 3+, passing 4+, armor 8+, 45k, A and D on primary, and then secondary is general passing strength. Dodge, right stuff, stunty, and thick skull. So basically, you're paying 5k to give your goblin thick skull, which is great. Thick skull comes in plenty of times. Never an exciting choice as a skill to pick, but if you're going to get it for free or very cheap, you're going to take it. And particularly as armor is broken quite a lot on stunties, so the fact that you're now not getting stunned on that 8 is really, really useful. So, looking at the other area that I think, well, the one area that's going to help them most is Devious. Having Devious primary access is going to be perfect for the Goblin Bruisers. They make perfect little fowlers because they're not too expensive. And with your Black Orcs with Grab, it's very easy to pass players back into a scrum of Black Orcs and Goblins who can happily stamp away on that person. And of course, it can negate things like sidestep. So it's a good combo to have some devious fouling players in the Black Orc team. And now you can do it cheaper and quicker because you've got most of those skills on primary. So Goblin Bruiser has taken a buff, in my opinion. The Black Orc. So the Black Orc, look at him. I love this model. Absolute tank. And he's got the stats to back that up. He's only movement 4, so he's not the quickest of cats. But he's strength 4, edge 4+, which for a bigger character, it's not the end of the world. Passing 5+, you're probably never going to pass with him. Armor 10+, so he's a tough guy. He's 90k, which is what he was before. He's got general and strength on primary. And then on secondary, he's got agility. He's lost passing access now. I don't think that's a big deal at all. You're never going to turn into a thrower. The only thing you might have taken, I suppose, is leader. So that's no longer an option. But he does get devious on a secondary. Again, I don't think you're going to be leaning into these skills much. There's plenty to choose from general and strength. And then he comes with Brawler and Grab. And both of these skills, I think, were possibly underrated until people played Black Orcs and realised actually Brawler is pretty decent. It's nowhere near as good as Block and never will be. But now with Block being an elite skill, people might be more inclined to take Brawler instead, or if their character's already got Brawler, they might think, do I really need to spend that extra money to get Block? I think on a Black Orc team, you'd always want at least one Black Orc with Block, so it can be a more reliable blitzer. But I don't know if you go as wide with it now. And Grab is also really useful. I've already said how that synergizes well with fouling and also positioning people for serfs. So they are great players. They haven't really got better. I don't think having Devious instead of passing has made them better or worse, really. So I'd pretty much say Black Orcs have stayed the same, except for one thing, and that is, look down here. Do you see it say unsteady? No, you do not. So these Blackhawks can carry the ball. Now at movement 4 and edge 4 plus, they don't make good runners. They don't make good runners at all. But it does mean that if you're happy to do a very slow but powerful trundle down the pitch, and you're happy and you're confident that you'll be able to blitz out when you need to, he can serve as a ball carrier. And the other thing he can do is you can hand off to this Black Hawk if you've got the advantage, if you want to try and get more star player points onto him as well. Having said that, there's another easier way that this guy is going to pick up star player points, and we'll talk about that when we get to the team rules. So, because of not having unsteady, I do think that means that in the grand scheme of the game, the Blackhawks have improved. Okay, the trained troll. Just like the Snotlings one, it's pretty much the same. Those are the classic troll stats, classic troll skills, except this here, no loner again. So this troll is more reliable again. You only get one of them, unlike the Goblin team, but with 6 Black Orcs surrounding him, you can have more agency with this troll now. You can get him more involved without the fear of loner stopping you from using a reroll. So I really do think that's going to make a massive difference to the Black Orcs, and I just think the troll will become much more commonplace. 6 Black Orcs and a troll is a strong front line, especially in this edition of the game where guard is going to be perhaps seen a little bit less as people try and control their TV. So that's another boon for the Black Orc team. Okay, so the additional rules, they've gained Brawling Brutes, which is where they can get more star player points for causing casualties than they can for touchdowns. So I have said, you can get the ball to a Blackhawk now and let him score to get you more star player points. That's a way of guaranteeing it, but he actually gets more from causing casualties anyway, so that's worth bearing in mind. Rerolls are still 60k. They've got those bribes as well to help them, so that plays into the whole fouling meta as well. I'd say you've got the bribery and corruption. That is allows them cheaper bribes to help keep those players on the pitch. So yeah, when it comes to the pros and cons, I've said I think Blackhawks have gained in season 3. So I put as the con no big buff to the roster because I have said before that I feel like Blackhawks are missing another positional, like a Blackhawk blitzer or a Goblin something. I just feel like there's a space for another positional on this team, and they didn't get that, which is a bit of a shame. And no random secondary skills on the Goblins means that you can't fish for things like block and sure hands now. You've either got to pay the money and pay the star player points or ignore them altogether. And I put elite attacks might hurt the Blackhawks a little because even if you weren't going for block, you were probably going for guard mighty blow. So that might cause them to balloon a little bit more. I still think you're going to want guard and mighty blow on these guys. But maybe you can save a bit of TV by not necessarily going for block as much. We'll have to wait and see. And I've said here, Brawling Brutes will help them. I've jumped over to the pros. Primary Devious Access, really useful on a team that's got bribery and corruption and very cheap players, disposable players who can. I mean, anytime a 15k Snotling removes even an opposition lineman, they've more than made up for the TV difference, haven't they? 15k for a 50k. And imagine if a 15k Snotling stamps on a War Dancer's head, worth 130 base. It's very tasty. Blackhawks can secure the ball, which I think is a boon. Doesn't necessarily mean they always need to keep the ball, but might be quite useful in the early part of a drive where you're not as much under the pressure. You can have it on a more sturdy player. No loan on the troll means the troll can be a lot more involved in plays and strategies. Brawling Brutes will help the Blackhawks develop quicker, and we also haven't talked about the buffs to throw teammate, which we did on the Snotling video. So things like the lethal flight and the bullseye are going to make throw teammate better for one turns, better for jumping over enemy lines, and also better for killing players using Snotling shaped missiles. So overall, I do think the Blackhawks have improved. I've put them just ahead of the Wood Elves, but underneath the Shambling Undead in terms of how much they've improved. Overall, do I see them moving up a lot in terms of their tiering or their position compared with other teams? Not a great deal, but I do think they've got better. I would expect to see their win rate improve at tournaments from what it had been. I do expect them to get better. How much they get better is harder to say. So yeah, it's nice that we've been able to put a couple of teams on this side of the board now. And so as we're looking, it's a bit of an even spread appearing here. There's always going to be teams that lose out, and there's always going to be teams that gain. But we'll have to see whether we still think this when I get to the last roster. Okay, so the next one I think I'll be doing will be Dark Elves, because we haven't done an elf team for a little bit. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and keep those likes and subscribes coming. It's great having more people on board, so thank you very much for that, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Thank you very much. Bye for now.